Hey, y'all, Pastor Emil here with a midweek sermon recap. Hopefully you were able to join us this past Sunday as we concluded our series on Christianity and its counterfeit. There is Christianity, and then there is religion dressed in Christian clothes that looks like it, but isn't really Christianity. We talked about how grace is at the heart of that, and that it's about nothing at all that we do to merit, to earn God's love and favor, but it is God's grace completely, His love for us, that just gives His Son to save us, to die on a cross, to rise again, to return, to restore all of creation, and to give us eternity in His presence, the joy and peace of eternity in His presence. But this past Sunday, we talked about how there are some folks out there that have this idea that this is kind of like a candy hangover from Halloween, right? This, like, if you give out too much candy, if you eat and consume too much free stuff, free sweet stuff, you're going to just feel miserable. Oh, right? You're going to feel useless and lifeless. You're not going to want to do anything anymore. Well, there are a lot of folks that think that grace is a lot like that there's a grace hangover idea, that somehow if you are too clear in communicating grace, if you are too free in distributing grace and the gifts that God has for people and His love, well, then you're going to create a bunch of people that just don't do anything. And I think we could argue that that can't be further from the truth. The truth is that when you feel loved, when you feel accepted, when you feel that you are just totally embraced by your Creator, by God, that you actually are far more capable of doing good things, because now you're not doing them for yourself, you're doing it for them. And that's kind of what we talked about. Two kinds of righteousness, right? There's this passive righteousness, this vertical righteousness between us and God. And as far as being righteous in God's eyes, that's something that we can't possibly do. We need Jesus to do that. And it's a gift. God made Him, Jesus, to be sin so that in Him we might become the righteousness of God, right? He who knew no sin became sin so that we could have this passive righteousness, this standing in God's presence, knowing that we are accepted, we are loved, we are good, we are holy, and worthy of the gifts that He has in store for us. But then there's this horizontal righteousness, this active righteousness, and that's something that our neighbors need. It's not something we need to do to get in good with God, but because now we're not so busy obsessing about, are we good enough? Have we done enough? Is God pleased with us? Are we going to be accepted? Are we going to be in? Are we going to receive forgiveness? Are we going to be in heaven? Are we going to rejoice in eternity with God forever and ever? I don't know. And we have this self-absorbed navel-gazing thing going on. But once we know we're in, well, now we can look up and we can see all the people around us that have needs. We can see our spouses, our kids, our grandkids, our neighbors, our friends, our family, our community, our neighbors, our coworkers, and so many other people. We can actually see the needs that they have because we're not so busy consumed with ourselves. And that is active righteousness. That is when we start looking outward and in love, serving those around us. Not because it gets us in good with God. They are not tools for us to put notches in our spiritual belt so that we can get in good with God. No, we are already in good with God. And because we know His love and His grace, we now freely give and love and serve. I hope this is helpful for you. I know it was an awful lot to try and get into that sermon, and this series has been a little bit theological at times, but I hope you see how people can really mess this up and turn Christianity into a counterfeit. Hang in there. God loves you. His grace is completely a gift. I hope you know that. I hope you receive that, you hear that, and I hope you are now free to look around and see those people that God has placed around you that need you to love them and serve them. God bless you. Hope to catch up with you real soon. Bye-bye.